We are grateful to all the countries that voted in support of the draft resolution tabled by Jordan and co-sponsored by 46 countries, expressing by an overwhelming majority support for this unequivocal call for an immediate humanitarian truce, for a halt to all attacks on civilians, for the protection of civilians, for compliance with international law, including humanitarian and human rights law, including the release of all civilians held captive, and has called for immediate and unimpeded humanitarian assistance that is so desperately needed by our people in the Gaza Strip. We are one in seeking an end to the killing, the trauma and terror, the destruction. This, of course, is not something that the representative of the occupying power will ever understand. He still comes here to this world body after it has clearly spoken and said, enough bullying and inciting, trying to force everyone to accept their twisted criminal definition of the self-defense, i.e. to massacre civilians and destroy a people.
The right to self-defense, as recognized by international law and the United Nations Charter, extends to all Palestinians, including resistance movements such as Hamas, in their struggle against Israeli occupation and military aggression. Regrettably, the representative of Canada tried to whitewash Israeli aggression by shamelessly pointing fingers at Iran. Indeed, Canada persists to stay in the wrong side of history by taking sides with the darkness and by viciously supporting the military occupying regime of Israel that is brutally massacring innocent people right now. The level of hypocrisy and double standard is disgusting. Canada and the United States are complicit in the crimes of Israel, and they must be held to account before history.
South Africa urges the United Nations to impose an arms embargo on all parties involved in this conflict, given the nature of the death and destruction we are witnessing every day. The actions of Hamas since 7 October this year included war crimes and must be investigated, just as the heinous war crimes, crimes against humanity and genocide perpetrated by the Israeli forces must be investigated.
السيد الرئيس، لقد صوت وفد بلادي لصالح مشروع القرار الذي صوتنا عليه اليوم في الجمعية العامة، كونه يهدف بشكل أساسي إلى وقف آلة الحرب الإسرائيلية الهمجية، إذ يطالب بوقف فوري لهذا العدوان وإيصال المساعدات الإنسانية ورفض التهجير القسري للفلسطينيين. إلا أن وفدي يتحفظ.
Победа какой-либо национальной позиции. Это не победа какой-либо национальной позиции. Это победа здравого смысла, справедливости, соображений гуманизма. Это материальное воплощение той огромной обеспокоенности по поводу судеб мирных жителей в Газе и в Израиле, которые всех нас объединяют. Данная резолюция меньше из того, что мы можем и обязаны для них сделать. К сожалению, итоги голосования лишний раз подтверждают, что ответственные представители мирового сообщества осознают, что на фоне происходящей на Ближнем Востоке трагедии, гибели мирных граждан, страданий и лишений, не время отстаивать какие-либо конъюнктурные интересы. Необходимо послать единый, четкий сигнал о необходимости скорейшего прекращения насилия, возвращения переговоров к мирным переговорам на одобренной ООН платформе,
Colombia votó a favor de esta resolución uniéndose a la amplia mayoría que ha coincidido en reafirmar el llamado al cese al fuego y al respeto irrestricto del derecho internacional humanitario y la protección de la vida, de conformidad con la resolución que acabamos de aprobar. La violencia solo produce más violencia y más pérdidas de vida, dejando a su paso un desafortunado legado nefasto para las generaciones futuras.
The meeting is adjourned.
The terror attacks in Israel on 7th October were shocking and deserve condemnation. Terrorism is a malignancy and knows no borders, nationality, or race. Let us keep aside differences, unite, and adopt a zero-tolerance approach to terrorism.
ES10/L26. Please signify. We shall now begin the voting process. Those against? Abstentions?
In a world where differences and disputes should be resolved by dialogue, this august body should be deeply concerned at recourse to violence. That too, when it happens on a scale and intensity that is an affront to basic human values. Violence as a means to achieve political objectives damages indiscriminately and does not pave the way for any durable solutions. The terror attacks in Israel on 7th October were shocking and deserve condemnation. Our thoughts are also with those taken hostages. We call for their immediate and unconditional release. Terrorism is a malignancy and knows no borders, nationality, or race. The world should not buy into any justification of terror acts. Let us keep aside differences, unite, and adopt a zero-tolerance approach to terrorism. Mr. President, casualties in the ongoing conflict in Gaza are a telling, serious, and continuing concern. Civilians, especially women and children, are paying with their lives. This humanitarian crisis needs to be addressed. We welcome the international community's de-escalation efforts and delivery of humanitarian assistance to the people of Gaza. India, too, has contributed to this effort. Mr. President, India is deeply concerned at the deteriorating security situation and astounding loss of civilian lives in the ongoing conflict. The escalation of hostilities in the region will only exacerbate the humanitarian crisis. It is necessary for all parties to display the utmost responsibility. Mr. President, India has always supported a negotiated two-state solution to the Israel-Palestine issue, leading to the establishment of a sovereign, independent, and viable state of Palestine, living within secure and recognized borders, side by side in peace with Israel. For this, we urge the parties to de-escalate, eschew violence, and work towards creating conditions for an early resumption of direct peace negotiations. We hope that the deliberations of this Assembly will send a clear message against terror and violence and expand prospects for diplomacy and dialogue while addressing the humanitarian crisis that confronts us.
Those against, abstentions.
The General Assembly is now voting on draft resolution A/ES10/L25.
Draft resolution AES10L25 is adopted.
现在呢是位于以色列南部靠近加沙地带的一个边界的，这里呢是法阿扎这个村庄的边缘的位置，在以色列国防军所公布的。
The result of the vote is as follows. In favor 120, against 14, abstentions 45. Draft resolution AES10L25 is adopted.
This dangerous resolution demands that Israel call for Gazans to return to this active war zone. Is the goal here to further endanger human lives? This ridiculous resolution has the audacity to call for a truce. The goal of this resolution's truce is that Israel should cease to defend itself to Hamas so Hamas can light us on fire. We have all witnessed that the UN no longer holds even 1 ounce of legitimacy or relevance. This organization was founded in the wake of the Holocaust for the purpose of preventing atrocities. Yet, the spectacle we just saw proves beyond a doubt that the UN is committed, sadly, tragically, not to preventing but ensuring further atrocities. This is a dark day for the UN and for mankind. Mr. President, Israel will continue to defend itself. We will defend our future, our very existence, by reading the words of Hamas's evil so that it can never threaten anyone else again.
الشعب الفلسطيني يناضل ويكافح من أجل حقه في تقرير المصير والعودة والاستقلال. ما تقوم به عصابات النظام الصهيوني اليميني الإسرائيلي هو شبيه بداعش. نحن شعب نريد الحياة.
المراجل مش في المنارة، المراجل غاد زي ولاد غزة ما هم تحت الطيارات بترقص. فيها للأعناق كنا فيها للأعناق يا بالطبق اليهودي يا بالطبق اليهودي